Oh my word, guys. This is not a video that I ever saw myself doing. $400 silver? I can't even believe I'm saying this, honestly. I'm going to show you guys some math, something that just happened that I'm sitting here trying to calculate out the math on this, and it just blew my mind when I came up with the numbers. I had to go back and kind of look at it again, and I was like, what the heck? So, good morning, YouTubers. Got a great video planned out for you guys today. Today, I want to talk about what just happened with silver and the possibility of silver going back on the U.S. strategic stockpile reserves. This is something you may have heard of. It happened last week. They announced that they were considering it. It was on a draft list, so it's not official yet. But when I looked at that calculating, I'm like, okay, so when was the last time we had this on the list? How many ounces were there? How many do we have now? Do we even have any now? And I'm looking through all the stuff, and then all of a sudden I come up with a number, and it blew my mind. $400, easy. Now, here's the thing. I don't think we're going to hit the high end of the spectrum right off, but that number is based on me already taking some lower numbers, like how many ounces of silver would have to be bought to put it back on the strategic stockpile list, because you can't have something on the strategic stockpile list and then not have any of it. So you've got to have some of it. How much would they buy? How much did they have in the past? What was the lowest amount we ever had while it was on the list? And I'm like, I'm going to use the lowest possible numbers. And then I come up with $400 jump, which would be insane if silver did that. Now, I'm not telling you guys this because I think silver is going to go to $400. I'm not telling you this because I think I want people to go buy silver. I think it's wise if people have some silver. I think it's an opportunity of a lifetime. But I still think if silver just goes to $100 an ounce, I'm going to be ecstatic, me personally. And I think a lot of you will be ecstatic, unless you're that guy that just sold his collection for $40 an ounce the other day, and then he's going to be crying, I think. So we're going to talk about this in today's video. Now, like I said, I'm not one of these people that like to put out big numbers. In fact, I can't stand people that put out huge astronomical numbers, and people will start watching those videos and they expect it's going to happen tomorrow. Now, is there some interesting stuff going on with this that could escalate things? Absolutely. And we're going to talk about all that in today's video. If you enjoy the video, take a quick minute and hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe if you're new to the channel. Help me out. It really does. I can't say how much it helps me out if you hit that subscribe button. More than you know. We're trying to grow the channel. We're at just hit 15,000 subscribers, and I'm super thankful for that. So with that being said, let's jump in. And first thing, let's just take a look at the silver numbers before we get into talking about the main topic for the day. So taking a look at silver right now, silver is at $40.80 essentially. We have been seeing a slow and steady climb from the beginning of the year. I've always said that people, the high ups, know what's going to happen before it happens. And a lot of this recent increase in the prices could have something to do with people knowing what's coming down the road, people front running silver. Now, a lot of us have been front running it for years now. We've been buying silver, we've been stacking it, and we look at the math, and we've seen the manipulation, the huge amounts of naked short contracts that really will probably just be settled in dollars, if anything, because ultimately there's not even that much silver out there when it comes to the amount of silver short positions that are out there. So it's crazy. And so a lot of us have been betting on silver essentially to do a lot better, to maybe be the ship that's going to maybe change our life. I mean, literally. I mean, if you've been acquiring silver for more than a few years, I mean, even as much as a $10,000 or $20,000 run-up asset would make a dent in a lot of people's lives. And there is huge potential, I believe, in silver. Now, this is not financial advice. It shouldn't be taken as such, but it's definitely something to consider. And when you look at silver, it blows my mind because when I look at all the other precious metals, silver just seems out of place. It really does. You know, you got gold up there, you got platinum up there, you got palladium up there, you got rubidium up there. But silver, $40, $41. I mean, come on. To move that up wouldn't take much. We've seen metals skyrocket in price. I mean, recently we've been seeing gold just really taking off. But some might say that what is going to happen to silver is nothing compared to what we've seen. Silver has been manipulated for the longest time. The industrial demand of silver is obscene. And now the government wants to look at this and say, maybe we should have some silver in the stockpile reserves. So we're going to get into that here too. Taking a quick look at the gold price, we got the gold trading at $3,554, continuing to make its climb, slow and steady. Hey, that's great. I don't mind. $10 an ounce up. That's cool by me. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now. Oh, you know what? I forgot to pull one other chart up I want to pull up too. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin trading at $111,572. Up another 831. Top 10 list of investments based by market cap. I've been wanting to pull this up for you guys too. Hopefully I can get the list up now. Boom. Where is it? Where is it? Assets. Assets. Not companies. Assets. Top assets based by market cap. There we go. Right here. I wanted to pull this up because a lot of people may not have noticed this. That's right. There it is. We got gold at number 1, and not even close. No one's ever probably going to take out gold anytime soon, except silver someday. Maybe. Who knows? NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon. Silver. Silver just passed up Bitcoin based on it's now number 7. Bitcoin fell to number 8. It doesn't mean anything. It just means that silver's moving up faster now. It's gaining momentum, and it's exciting to see it move past that. It's not going to be long when you look at these numbers. 2.2 trillion against 2.5 trillion. It's not going to be long before it passes Amazon and then possibly even Alphabet, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Moving on real quick. I wanted to take a quick look at the current U.S. debt. $37.3 trillion. As the debt continues to climb more rapidly, it wasn't even that long ago we hit 37 trillion. Now that we're at 37.3 trillion. Next thing, now we're going to talk about the topic at hand. So, question came up. How come I wasn't talking about this? I pulled it up. I had heard briefly about it, but I don't always, I hear stuff, and sometimes I remember to look it up. Sometimes I don't bother. But needless to say, when I'd heard about it, I said, you know what, I'm going to look it up tonight, try to get a good video out of it. And did the U.S. just add silver to its strategic stockpile reserve list? So it didn't actually add it to the list, first of all. It just added it to its draft list, which means it will later get voted on in like a month or whatever, and then they will decide if they're going to add silver to the list. So in August 2025, the U.S. government added silver to the official draft list of the critical minerals. This designation enables the potential for creating a strategic silver stockpile, but the government has not yet confirmed that it will be adding silver to the strategic stockpile reserve list. Now, here's the thing. What do you think happens? Once they add that to the list, well, they're going to have to buy some. They're going to start buying it. How quick will they buy it? How much will they buy? It's going to really be interesting to say. This is huge of an announcement. But lately we've been having more announcements come up that push silver a little at a time up higher. Now, it's a possibility they won't add it to the official list, but they could even start buying it and not adding it to the list. That's a possibility. Some people will say, no, governments don't do that. They have to have approval and this and that. they spend money on stuff that's not reported, I believe, all the time. And so once you understand that, they could start, because as soon as they announce this, now they're going to be bidding against themselves. They're going to be the main buyer. They're going to be driving the price up. But I wanted to know, was silver ever on the strategic stockpile list? Now, I knew it was at one time, but I didn't really know the details of it. In June of 1968, the U.S. Treasury transferred 165 million fine troy ounces of silver to the stockpile for the National Defense Stockpile, according to the U.S. Mint. From 1970 to 2000, the silver was slowly sold off. That could have been with American Eagles. That could have been just selling it off however they sell it off. Now, here's the thing. Here we are now. They had an opportunity of a lifetime. And here we are now looking at possibly buying it all back. I mean, this just goes to show how messed up government is, the way they do things. I've seen them build brand new bases and then close them down like a year or two later. It's insane. And then, hey, you know what? We don't even want the base. We'll just give it to you. It's yours. And they just give it to either the people that the land was leased from or the country that the land was leased from. I know one of the places I want to go in the Philippines has a huge air base that was turned into an airport after it was given back to the Philippines. Now, there's talk that we might go back over there and kind of reopen a newer base. I don't know if that will happen or not, but it's interesting how government likes to waste money. Now, think about this, though. So when they got rid of it, when they took silver off of the strategic stockpile list, they got rid of 165 million ounces. Now, here's the thing. That was at the end. So that was the buildup. What was the most silver the U.S. ever had on its strategic stockpile list? So at the peak, at the peak of having silver on the holdings list, it was in 1942 when the Treasury had a stockpile of 3.3 billion ounces. So we've got a strategic stockpile list, let's say, and now we might put it back on the list. Where are we going to end up? Are we going to be at 3.3, which is the high range, or are they going to buy 160 million ounces? So there's two big numbers, really. I mean, think about this for a minute. Even if they just took the low number of the 160 million, what do you think? 165 million. What kind of impact do you think that's going to have on the silver price if they just tried to buy that? Chances are, in reality, they're not going to try to buy all this at once. They'll probably shoot it down, as in you won't see it on the list. They won't approve it, but they will start buying it, and we will gradually see the price slowly start to climb. That's my personal opinion on what I think is going to happen. But when you think about it, 3.3 billion ounces. Now, I wanted to know, is there any way to calculate the exact impact that would be on silver if someone purchased 165 million? So there is a way, but I don't know how to do it, I'll be honest. Yes, a price impact can be estimated, but it is extremely complex. Calculations involving many variables beyond a simple formula. You need to consider the total available market supply of silver, the price sensitivity of buyers and sellers, how the large purchase would affect the market liquidity, and whether the purchase would trigger a significant shift in gold-silver ratio. Oh, of course it would have a shift. You would see the gold-silver ratio come back down to probably what it should be. Honestly, after looking at what I've looked at today to get ready to make this video, I almost wanted to dump all my gold. I said, man, I wouldn't mind if I could, but I've been wanting to do it for a while and get more silver. But I like the gold because it's small, it's compact, it has a lot of value in a very small a small hand, essentially. You can have a handful of gold coins and you can move away and start a whole new life with that. It's crazy what you can do with just a tube of gold eagles. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, you wouldn't even need a tube, but, so it would have a big impact. I don't even know the exact details. However, I went on and I wanted to know how much silver is currently available for delivery. Because the COMEX, I don't know. I mean, the COMEX couldn't supply a 3.3 billion ounce purchase. But could they do 165 million ounce purchase? I mean, the COMEX might be able to deliver that, maybe. I wanted to know, how much does the COMEX have? So it's estimated that the COMEX, 518 million troy ounces were available for delivery at the COMEX inventory. Now, this is what they say on paper is available for delivery, according to the data from TrendForce. However, there's no single precise figure for that total amount of silver available for deliveries globally. The amount varies based on several factors. When you start getting into ETFs and what dealers' stock is, I mean, here's the thing. A lot of us that stack buy from big silver dealers. If all of a sudden big money came out and said, hey, we're prepared to pay, this price, 42, anybody that can deliver will buy this many ounces from them, they will start draining the dealer's supply. When the dealer's supply starts running out, I mean, how's that going to affect us, those of us that are stacking? I would probably give up stacking silver in the sense of, I mean, it would just be a ride up. That's all it would be. I mean, we've missed the boat at that point. I mean, for people, I always say there's no right time to stop buying. Someone asked me that in a question one day, and they're like, is your goal just to keep buying forever? I said, well, I mean, at a certain point, if you stop buying for a month, you start building up your cash. And then if you stop buying for 6 months, now your cash is pretty well built up. I mean, let's be honest. Most of us that are silver stackers and we firmly believe in it, we're buying a fair amount every month, whether it's at the first of the month, weekly, daily, or just monthly. We're buying a certain amount. It's not going to take long before you start building up a certain amount of cash. But like I've always said, as the dollar goes down in value, how much cash do you want to have on hand? We're seeing it go down. But I can tell you, if the price just outright spiked, that would be hard to stomach for a lot of us. I've seen a lot of people say they were done buying when it went. Well, shoot. I was one of them people that said, I'm not buying another ounce over $20. This is crazy. When I was buying at 15, and I was buying a lot of ounces at $15 an ounce. When it broke 20, I mean, and it only broke it. I was on a live stream one night. This was years ago. When it got to like $20.30, and I said, I'm not paying it. I said, I won't pay these prices. And then it went down to $20.01. And a couple of people are like, are you serious? You're not going to put in your 200-ounce order because you don't want to pay that extra 200 pennies? I said, nope. I said, tomorrow it will come back down. I woke up the next morning and silver had jumped to $21. And I was like, ugh. And that was it. And then, obviously, it went to 21, 22. And then I started saying, you know what, just buy. And I had to bite it and buy it. And I started stacking again. When it went over 30, a lot of people were saying, I'm not buying over 30. It's going to be back down at 20. I've got subscribers of the channel that would leave me comments on a regular basis that they were not going to buy silver until it was back below 20. But at a certain point, when you start accumulating that cash, you just see it go up. It's just going up and up and up and up. And yes, we have pullbacks. We've seen pullbacks even as early 3 months ago. We've seen a pullback that brought us all the way back down to almost the beginning of the year price. So it was like 3 months were just gone. All the gains that we acquired in 3 months were gone. But were they really gone? Because yes, it was a manipulation. It was a huge pullback. But instantly, within a week, it had gone right back up to where it was. And you can see that even in the silver charts. This chart right here, I say year to date, look at this. Boom, we were right here. We were at 28.82 at the beginning of the year. Price went all the way up to $34. And in 2 days, the price just plunged all the way down to right around 28.80. And all of a sudden, a lot of people were like, here it is. This is it. It's going to keep going down. I was like, I'm happy to buy silver at this point at the price that I was paying at the end of last year. Look at what happened. Literally, only from the 3rd of April until the 23rd of April, and we were right back before the drop. And yeah, we consolidated a little bit here for April, May, June, and then all of a sudden we popped through and continued on the climb. So we've seen this happen before, but a lot of people can't stomach bigger and bigger prices for too long. Eventually they buy. I've came up with the conclusion that there's no better day to buy than today. I mean, really. I mean, buying silver today, it's probably going to be cheaper tomorrow. I've said we've got a lot of interesting stuff going on this month. We get the Fed meeting. That could cause a somewhat of a pullback, but what kind of pullback would I expect? $38 maybe? I mean, yeah, hey, $38, I'll take a $3 drop and put in a big order. But at the end of the day, we're not going to see super low numbers ever again. And a lot of people just are missing out on what's going to happen. Let me continue back where I was for a quick minute. The most we've ever had. What kind of impact? So yeah, a purchase that size would have a huge impact on it. Now, the estimated that they have for delivery is 518 million. So, I mean, if you took 165 million ounces of that, we would definitely be draining the COMEX. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the U.S. try to press them for a really big purchase, to put in some big order at current price. Why? Because they know once they start buying, if they start buying, that they're going to be the one driving the price up. I mean, let's be honest. If you had hundreds of millions of dollars, unlimited money, printing, availability to you, and you knew that when you start buying an asset, everybody's going to watch you, and then they're going to start essentially bidding it up because they're going to want to get on your coattail. I mean, when I see big money start buying stuff, that is one of the things I love about gold and silver. Big money already buys gold and silver. What do you think would happen if all of a sudden roughly 30% of the available silver was just bought instantly? Now, will they take it instantly? They're certainly not going to want to bid against themselves. So that's the incentive for why they need to take it instantly. If they were to take 100 million ounces or even 50 million ounces, a purchase like that would definitely have an impact on the price. There's still people out there that think 40 is an all-time high for silver, and it's an absolute joke to me. And I don't mean all-time high. I mean current high. It's a 13-and-a-half-year high. But there are people that think that, you know what, okay, maybe at best it will run to $50 and then plunge back down. I don't think so. I really don't. There's just too much money in the system. I mean, think of the demand for silver in industrial investment. Yeah, investment demand for silver might still be low. I'm not going to sit here and argue with people on that note because there's probably not a ton of stackers that are investing a ton of money on it. However, what's cool about this is, can you imagine if you put in $1,000 at $40 an ounce and silver goes to 80? Your $1,000 just became $2,000. And I know someone's like, oh, well, $1,000 isn't life-changing. And you're right. $1,000 probably wouldn't be life-changing. But it's all in perspective to how much money someone has. You know, maybe to you $1,000 would be not life-changing. But to somebody that has not much extra money and they're just squeezing out a little bit to put into silver for the hope that maybe it will give them a better lifestyle down the road, and all of a sudden it goes to 80, 120, 160, $200 an ounce. You know, That's huge when you think about it. Now, the big question that I had after this was I wanted to know the exact impact of $160 million ounce, not dollars, 160 million ounce purchase would have. And everything pointed to a crazy impact. But one of the important things, I'm going to get to it, a sharp price increase, and I'm going to read this paragraph to you in just a minute. But a one-time purchase of 160 million ounces of silver would have a dramatic impact, immediate impact on the markets, likely causing a sharp price spike and expediting the existent strategic stockpile deficit. So we already know there's a huge deficit, but can you imagine just outright just, I don't know, taking the majority of it? How much of a deficit would we have? This volume is a significant fraction of the world's annual supply, which is approximately 1 billion ounces. So that means a billion ounces is a year's supply that we pump out of the ground, essentially, according to these numbers. So 1 billion ounces. So, I mean, we're probably not going to get 3.3 billion ounces. That's pretty clear. But 160 is a low number when you look at the history of the Silver Strategic Stockpile Reserve. Now, this paragraph right here is the one that really caught me off guard because I did not hear about this. So a sharp price increase, a purchase of this magnitude, would represent a massive surge in demand, far exceeding the market's thin supply. Unlike gold, the silver market is relatively small and less liquid, meaning large capital inflows would have magnified effects. The price would be expected to react violently and move up rapidly. Now, this is the sentence that just blew my mind when I read this, and we're going to talk about this in just a minute. In 1979, an investment of just over 200 million ounces pushed the price of silver to $50. Now, what would your next question be? Okay, so silver in 1979 got pushed to $50. But what did it get pushed from? Silver was just under $5 in 1978. So that's a 10x move for a 2 million ounce purchase. Now, here's the thing. I think it's safe to say there was a lot more silver around back in 1979. There was a lot more of it. Why? Because we didn't use it as much as we use it up today. I mean, we're burning it and burying it today. We don't recycle it, barely. It just gets thrown away in a landfill. It's too cheap. So when you think about that, if that could have a 10x move then, what do you think it would do today? Let's just say for a minute it just did the same impact, a 10x move. 41 would go to 410. But here's the thing. Now, you also got to consider, did people already start front running it this year? Let's just say the beginning of the year was where the 10x would have started at $28. That still puts us at 280. 280, I would be ecstatic. A lot of you would be ecstatic. We waited our whole lives, some of us, to see silver get rightfully priced. Fair market price. Get rid of the manipulation. Get rid of the ETFs. Get rid of the naked short positions. Price silver what it should be priced at. Now, if this doesn't really spark some interest in you, I don't know what will. Because I can tell you right now, I am super excited. Stressed out a little bit because the question will always come up, do I have enough silver? I mean, yeah, statistically, I think I have enough silver. I think I have enough gold. I think I have what I'm supposed to have based on people that I've seen their analysis, and I was like, okay, I'm good. But do we really have enough? I mean, at a certain point, greed steps in, and we always want more. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to say you wished you had bought more. Are you in a good spot? Yeah, you can be in a good spot, but there's always a better spot. I want to be, when that day comes, I want to change my life forever. I really feel bad. I was thinking about it the other day, too, when I started looking into some of this. When silver price explodes, I kind of feel bad. I mean, I got my dad, my late father, I got him into investing in gold and silver. And, you know, towards the end, he would call me up all the time, and he would ask me, hey, what do you think? Should we sell? He didn't have the firm understanding that I have, or that some of you have that watch my channel. He didn't watch my channel. I would send him a video once in a while, but he, you know how some people are. They don't even know how to pull up a YouTube video. So he never watched my videos or anything, and I said, there is not a chance in heck I would sell. But it's $25. I said, it's a joke still. I said, I ain't selling. Can you imagine the life change that $100 silver would have, $200 silver would have on you? You would position yourself and generations down the road in a good position. The question at that point would be, how can I get something else with some of that silver? Get rid of some of that silver to diversify into some less expensive asset. Some asset that I can pass on to my kids that won't destroy them from taxes. You know, that's why I love gold and silver. It's so low key that, you know, it's just there. You just have it and someone else just has it the next minute. You know, with big pieces of land, someone told me one day, I would buy hundreds of acres of land and give that to my kid. You know, hey, you don't have anything to worry about. You have an advantage when it comes because you are classified as a VA. I have a VA deduction, so I don't have to pay on my homestead taxes. A lot of states have this. If you're classified as a disabled veteran, you actually can get like, what do they call it? Like a VA deduction or whatever, where you don't have to pay. But eventually, we pass away. That deduction doesn't get passed on to our kids. How many people have you heard of that they had huge farms get passed down to them and they can't afford to pay the taxes on the farm? They're being forced to sell it off. I mean, so what can you give your kids or the next generation? I mean, I have a firm belief that, you know, people should want to leave their kids with something meaningful. I actually talked to a guy the other day, though. He was telling me, he was like, I would rather spend all my money on my kids today. That way, when I'm gone, they can look back at it and say, these are the fun things I did with my dad or my mom or whoever. And I said, yeah, that's true, but let's be honest. As adults, we're a little bit more responsible when it comes to money. Now, I know some of you watching this video right now are younger, a lot younger, probably don't even have kids. I think I had one subscriber write to me. He was like, and he might even be, well, the one I'm thinking of is a member. I can't remember how old he said he was or if he even told me, but I think he was in his early 20s. Good position, good job, trying to put money into silver every month, every week. And, you know, I understand that. You know, he doesn't really have to worry about the future generation yet. But you want to, a lot of us, I mean, the statistics on the channel are the majority of my subscribers are between the ages of 45 and 65. That's the biggest gap of watchers that I have. So, you know, this is huge. And some people are going to look at this and be like, it doesn't mean nothing to me. And maybe it doesn't. If you don't have any silver, it probably doesn't mean anything to you. You're just going to see the silver price jump. You're going to hear it on the news everywhere you look. And then you're going to remember that nut job at work that told you, oh, you should buy some silver at $20. And then now it's $40 and you just shrugged. Shrugged your arms, whatever, you know. Or, you know, you've seen a sign that said, invest in silver. Get yourself some silver. A lot of the Wall Street Silver Group, they've been putting up billboards to invest in silver. People drive by those billboards on a daily basis. Yet, how many of them really give any thought to it to invest a little bit of money into that? You know, where silver is going to go, if this happens the way it could happen, this is by far one of the biggest sparks that I think will explode the silver price. I think this could even be bigger than the BRICS system, the BRICS nations getting together. I think this could be bigger than anything we've talked about on this channel. Why? Because that's if they approve it. Chances are they won't approve it, but they will somehow start purchasing it. And we will just slowly see it creep up, not really knowing 100% why it's creeping up. How many people really know why it's creeping up now? Let's be honest. We got silver now at $41 roughly. $40.75. Why did it start drastically creeping up recently? I mean, because it seems like it's escalating this year faster than it has in previous years. And a lot of us, we state the obvious. Oh, the naked short positions. Oh, the increased demands. More people buying solar panels. The inventory shrinking. Yes, all that's true. But it almost feels like there's something else happening that we don't entirely know. And it's escalating the price. It's pulling it up a little faster, a little further. Now, I've assumed that this was essentially the people that have huge short positions slowly getting rid of their short positions. But we're not seeing short positions get dwindled. In fact, we're seeing the short positions rise, and we're seeing the price rise. The more shorts that are out there, we should see the price falling. But yet, we're not. Look at the volume in just recently. Look at this volume chart right here at the bottom. So for people that don't know, these are your closing spot prices. That's what makes this chart. This down here, this is your volume based on months. And yes, they're all high. I think, if I follow the line, we're pretty much, right about here. But look right here. Look what happened in the last month. We've essentially doubled our monthly average of people buying and selling silver, and mostly buying. Why? What caused the double? Are they already buying silver for the strategic stockpile reserve? Are they keeping it quiet? Maybe it's already been established, and now we're just getting it told to us. Because like I said, they're not going to tell you before they do it because they know it's going to have a big impact. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised to see some of these politicians, once they vote on it, instantly from their office, while they're casting the vote, putting in the buy orders to buy as much as they can. So if all of a sudden we see a huge spike in the price, I'm going to be like, somebody knows something. That's kind of what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the spikes in the volume of increased buying, and we're seeing short positions continue to grow. Now, let me take a quick look at how long I've been talking for. 38 minutes. So we're at 38 minutes. So I'm going to kind of start wrapping up here. But, I mean, this definitely should give a lot of you stuff to think about, especially the naysayers. I mean, I know some people say don't put that much thought into the naysayers and what they say. Their opinion is not important. They'll be left out. And yes, I agree with that to a certain point. I've done my research. I don't believe the naysayers have done their research. That's why they're naysayers. If I was to go into conversations that I've had with people on stuff I've researched and started talking about on here, some of y'all would think I'm nuts. You literally would. You'd be like, what the heck is this dude talking about? But it comes down to what you put your thoughts into. If you're spending time researching what's in the food that you eat, what's the deal with these food colorings? What's the deal with medicine? What's the deal with flat earth? What's the deal with all these different things? The philosopher's stone, all these different ideas. People don't really take the time to research, test, try different stuff. And because it's not popular, mainstream is what they tell you to think. That's mainstream. I had someone tell me the other day, we were having a conversation. He said, this next generation is lost. There's nothing you can do. I said, I don't want to hear that, bro. My son is in that generation, and I'd like to think that I've trained him well enough to know what's going on and to see it. And he said, let me ask you a question. He goes, if all of his friends are doing one thing, do you really believe that he'll be able to go against the grain and do it and do something else? I said, he might. He'll do it quietly, because that's what I would do. You know, like stacking precious metals. You know, I can't even say I'm quiet about it. Someone will be like, you're far from quiet. You know, but I mean, I don't always advertise it unless I feel comfortable with the person. It takes a while for me to actually talk to people about what's going on. Now, you guys, majority of you don't know me in person. You're not going to show up at my door and you know, a naysayer show up at my door and just start belittling me for this type of belief in gold and silver and stuff. You know, so it's going to be interesting, though, to see. I got to get back on topic. Here I am really getting off topic. You know, what's going to happen with the price of silver? I think this month we have a lot of exciting stuff ahead of us. We have the Fed meeting. We have the end of the third financial quarter. They've got to kick all these short positions down the road even further, which means they have to buy more short positions to beat the price down to cover the previous short positions, or what? Fail to deliver? They're not going to do that. They're not going to fail to deliver, in my opinion. So we're going to see what happens. And now this just got thrown on the cake. The possibility of them putting silver back on the strategic stockpile list. That's going to be huge, I think. So with that being said, going to wrap up here. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you made it this far and you're not subscribed, oh my word. You know, let me hit snooze on that real quick. I don't know what to say. Hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. I love to hear y'all's opinions, and it's going to get exciting. Check out some of these other great videos, and I will see you guys again tomorrow on, well, actually, no, I won't. Today's Friday. You guys are watching this on Friday, so I hope you all have a great weekend. I may put up a video. I actually have one video that was an old video that I've been wanting to figure out what to do with it, and someone's like, dude, just post it. And just say it's an old video. It's going to be cool to see you buying a bunch of silver at $20 an ounce at a big shop in San Antonio, Texas. Actually had a piggy bank that I got. I bought a piggy bank, an antique. I like antiques, for those of you that don't know. And it had change in it. But I didn't want to break it open. We didn't know how to open it. And he said, look, I'll give you a deal on it. I'll let you buy it. And whatever's in there for money, you give me 3 times face value. Well, if the piggy bank is antique, maybe the coins are antique. However, sometimes people will sell an antique piggy bank and throw some pocket change in it just before they do it. Which means if there was $5 worth of quarters that just came out of a cash register, it's going to cost me $15 extra. And I was debating it, and then my son's like, if you don't buy it, I want it. I'm going to buy it. And so I said, yeah, I'll buy it. And I bought it, busted it open, and to my surprise, I don't know if I should tell you because you may not want to watch the video, $9.90 in all old Mercury dimes. It was pretty cool. I still have them. I still have them in a little bag. I never checked the dates. Someone told me when I told that story to someone, they're like, dude, how did you not check the dates? You just threw them in a bag and kicked them in with the pile? He said there could be something cool in there. One of them rare dates that people look for when it comes to Mercury dimes. I can't remember if it was the 1916, 1917, whatever, DS something. I'm not a coin collector. I'm a stacker. So for the longest time, it was all about just collecting ounces and accumulate as much as I could. So we'll see. I may post that video up this weekend, unedited, and I think some of y'all would probably enjoy it. Some people would be like, oh, what do you mean $20 silver? Silver's not $20. But, you know, I don't know. They just would have to understand what's going on. It's an old video. I'd title it as such. With that being said, thank y'all for watching. Enjoy some of these other great videos. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and I'll see y'all for sure Monday. And I'll be putting up some short videos over the weekend. So take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.